Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the 7600 XT 16GB and the 7800 XT from AMD. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, I have done probably my first real-world testing in terms of how this game is going to, or how these cards are going to run in the real world with the amazing game of Skull and Bones. I've been able to put in over a couple hours on each card. I live streamed those. You're more than welcome to go and watch those live streams so you can see how each card performs on this game. With the 7600 XT, I was able to get 1440p with the highest settings out on the water. Over 60 FPS experience with the 7600 XT. It does definitely leave some to be desired while you're in bases and stuff running around. You will have performance drops into the 30s. But you're pretty much not doing like any kind of combat or action or anything. You're basically just going from stall to stall, like buying stuff, trading in gear, buying things, stuff like that. So I don't necessarily think the performance really matters too much in those areas. But when you are on the water, and this is the thing that matters the most, is when you're in the thick of combat and you are running around, selling the seas. You've got the storms coming in, the waves, all of that stuff. You are still in a very playable state, well above 60 frames per second, usually right around the 70 FPS. So yes, it is manageable. It is playable. You do get absolutely beautiful visuals. You can use FSR in this game to increase the frame rate as well as utilize Hyper RX with AMD's fluid motion frames, which actually adds to the smoothness of the overall experience on the 7600 XT. So I do think it is a viable option for anybody that wants to see this game in its complete, beautiful visual set. Like it looks incredible, and you are going to want those ultra quality settings for this game because it brings out the image quality so much more, and it is a very good looking game, especially in sunrises and sunsets, while you're sailing the seas at night, when you're in the bright, beautiful, sun-baked oceans. This game is incredible. I love Skull and Bones. I think it's a blast. I've been playing it. I woke up this morning and I was playing it some more, doing some more testing on like the 7800 XT. I actually uploaded a video for why I'm buying this game day one while just using the 7800 XT. So now I want to talk about the performance on the 7800 XT. Basically in comparison to the 7600 XT, and seeing as I was able to jump from 1080p to 1440p and still utilize ultra settings on the 7600 XT, I did the same thing with the 7800 XT, which is technically a 1440p card. I bumped that up to 4K, and I am able to get like-for-like settings and still remain about 10 frames higher than the 60 to 70 I'm getting on the 7600 XT. At 4K, I am able to push this experience up to 70, 80 frames per second, which is pretty nice. Sometimes even going as high as 90, while at 4K using, I think I'm using FSR Quality. I think I was using FSR Quality on both of them. So you are able to get a very playable experience. If you want to dial some of them settings back to get a more fluid experience, if you're going to be doing like the PvP and all of that stuff, yes, it is an option, but I don't know if the sacrifice to image quality would be worth it. I mean, obviously, if you're on a 7800 XT and you have a 1440p monitor, you're already going to get more frames just by going to 1440p. And the same with the 7600 XT. You can drop it down to 1080p and it does increase your overall frame rate. But if you want that pixel perfect image quality for whatever monitor you got, you're perfectly okay with just running these at like the native resolution on both of these cards. You were still getting, like on both cards, it was still closer to like the 60 frames per second, but it did go under at native resolution. So that there is a plus. And over my testing, because this is basically the third week I've had the 7600 XT, and being able to try these new games as they launch on this entry level card has really kind of opened my eyes to the overall experience that you get across the board on the AMD 7000 series GPUs, from the bottom all the way up to the higher end cards. I have the 7900 XT as well, and that's kind of what I've been testing lately, is how these cards perform. And just how big of a gap each one performs over the next one. And to be completely honest with you guys, I mean, it is, when it comes to image quality, like, you get like for like image quality on all three of these cards. But the one thing that does differ, obviously it's frame rate. That's pretty much what you're buying when you buy a new GPU, is you're buying that power to actually push your frame rates a lot higher. And I can tell you that, like, the overall experience has been consistent across the board, no matter which one of these cards you buy. And I've noticed that with AMD so far, because I think I've been 7 months now since I actually switched from NVIDIA over to AMD. I found a lot more consistent behavior in terms of being able to play my old games, being able to play newer games as they launch, with not a lot of problems. I did try Helldivers 2 the other day, and yeah, it crashed on me at first, but then when I reloaded back into it after I bought it a second time, I was able to play, didn't have any problems with that. I guess it had been patched and updated. I just found the gameplay not to be to my liking, not something that I'm okay, that I want to play. But the overall experience did get a lot better. It was pushing. I tested that on the 7600 XT, but I didn't try to do it on any other cards. Pretty much a 60 FPS experience for that game. Being able to utilize everything on that was okay. So. Obviously I've been playing a lot of Suicide Squad. The last weekend I did some Suicide Squad. I've tested some other games. I've been doing everything I can to try to figure out how this experience is going to work, from lower end to higher end. And to tell you the truth, I've found myself being able to get in on the 7600 XT and still enjoy my experience. And a lot of that comes down to monitor resolution. To be completely honest with you, if you're trying to run a 7600 XT on a 4K, yes, some games are going to work okay on that. And that's one thing that I'm really trying to dive into on the channel, is the bus rate. Like the 128-bit, 192, 256, 320. I'm really trying to dive into that and, like, really figure this out, because this is kind of a hot topic for contention amongst PC gamers. And to be completely honest with you, I haven't found yet in my testing that I've still got hundreds of games to test this and to see what's going on, but I haven't found the 128-bit bus rate yet to have a significant impact on playing games even at 4K with this card. Now, I know that in the future, as game engines and developers and visuals and stuff like that start to get more demanding, I do think that will be more of a problem in the future. But right now, as long as your GPU can push the 4K image, at least is in terms of, like, the settings that we have right now, like, if you're trying to push 4K on the 7600 XT, there are some games that are going to work just fine. Just due to the fact that, I mean, it's clearly more powerful than an Xbox Series X and a PS5, so you will be able to hit that 4K resolution. It's just going to, depend on what frame rate you're going to be at. You're going to be, pretty close to, like, the 30 frames per second on some of the demanding games, and then you're going to be 60 and above on other aspects of certain games with this card. And yes, I have tested a bunch of them. I mean, like Call of Duty, you can easily hit over 60 at 4K. Some of them shooting games, stuff like that. I got some Apex Legends I think I downloaded and stuff like that I'm going to be testing on the card as well. But yeah, you can get a pretty performant and good looking visual quality on the 7600 XT, even at 4K in some games. Like, it is possible. My racing games, my sim racing games, I'm able to get up to 70-ish, a little more than 70 on like Automobilista 2. on a Assetto Corsa Competizione. I'm able to get, you know, higher frame rates, push higher frame rates, even on the 7600 XT, to the point where when I'm sitting there and I'm playing this game, I'm not noticing like anything anything out of whack or anything like that when I'm playing these sim racing games, which has been awesome, to be completely honest with you. That's kind of something that's very important to me, is being able to hit 4K, obviously, because I got a 4K screen for my sim racing. So yeah, being able to hit 4K on these racing games, that's a big thing for me. And especially if I'm buying a video card or GPU, that there's like a must. I must be able to hit 4K resolution with my racing games. Everything else, I can run the gamut from 1080p to 1440p to 4K, whatever. I normally don't play like open world games or anything like that at 4K resolution, unless I'm on the 7900 XT, where I have to put them on the 4K just because the card gets bottlenecked, you know, at lower resolution. So I do have to push that to 4K on some of those, and then super sample down to my 1440p monitor so that I can get a better experience on those games. But the overall AMD experience, my friends, has been absolutely incredible for me. I'm not running into any of the problems that a lot of people are talking about, you know, like the black screens or the buggy drivers or anything like that. Like, it's just been a pretty consistent experience. That's why I'm pretty happy about it. That's why I was able to go ahead and get rid of the 4070 and just focus on the AMD brand, because that's where I'm happy right now. Like, that's where I feel the most the most comfortable right now, and that's fine. Like, I want to be comfortable. I want to be able to like sit back and actually learn this stuff, take my time and figure things out for myself, because as much as I appreciate the overwhelming support and feedback that the PC community has given me, I've also gotten a lot of negative, useless feedback that potentially just, you know, muddies the waters for me. And I'm the kind of person that kind of has to learn things my own way, and that's fine. I mean, I might stumble along the way, say some stupid stuff, but once I figure things out, man, I'm gonna come back and correct it. But yeah, dude, I had to start somewhere, and I'm the kind of person that has to learn from the ground up what's going on. So if I don't listen to your feedback, or I don't do exactly what you're telling me to do when you're giving me feedback within a certain amount of time, just rest assured, man, that I am doing everything that I personally can to learn PC gaming from the ground up and do my own testing and see how things work, because that's just the kind of person I am. And that's that. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that I don't care about what you say. It just means that, like, man, I'm deep in a process right now, and I'm sorry that you might feel like I'm not listening, but I am. I'm definitely listening to you guys. I hear your feedback, and I am trying to make things better, and I'm trying to, you know, get a little bit more testing in and stuff like that before I make stupid comments. Like, I really am trying, so just bear with me, my friends. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully you counted every time I said so throughout the video. We'll see you guys in the next one, man. Thanks for watching.